blog post, but just gonna show some examples right now. So earlier today we mentioned that we built Scenario. It's actually a JavaScript web application that uses Backbone and written mostly with CoffeeScript and writes to a MongoDB database. We're testing our Backbone code using a tool called Jasmine. Jasmine is a behavior-driven development framework in JavaScript. I'm going to show some examples of how we use Jasmine. So, what are the common tasks in using Jasmine? The Backbone app. First of all, in the Backbone app, you have views, models, and some collections. Collections not so much. Well, you could test it, but you probably end up testing Backbone. So I took a snippet of this is what a view test looks like. You have a describe block, and what this does, it sets up an event that, when triggered, ensures that certain properties are set in the view. There's in a view object some background in a view object in Backbone. There's a way of accessing the EL. So there's an EL property. It refers to an element in the DOM. Send an event, you trigger it, then what this test does, it verifies that certain properties in the view are set. It's no expectation. So in Jasmine there's a concept of matcher. So to test if something exists or something is true, you use a to be truthy if it's or to be falsy.
To be fruity.
That's how a view spec looks like. For a model, we have a use case where a collaborator is added to a project. So you set up the test, you create your own user model, then you set the owner ID. You add the owner and the collaborator to the user's collection. So in this part, you test if there's an owner, or if there's in Scenario there are two types of users: the owner, the one who owns the project, and the collaborator. But yeah, both of them are users, so you have to test the two users. And this one to elaborate the point that the collaborator is not the owner. So I mentioned earlier, if a collection, so you'd probably think that you're testing Backbone's callbacks, or if you're namely reset. So if you have custom code in your collection, you probably want to write a script for that. Jasmine has a way of stubbing out asynchronous code, but you use a tool called Sign-On. What this does is, when a project gets destroyed, it sends a message to the model to destroy it, and then there's a callback to the view, which instructs the view to remove it to the view hierarchy. Stop simply, if you're using RSpec, stop simply takes the place of the actual method call. So if you're going through a function that does a method call, it takes that out and replaces it with a dummy implementation. That's why if it has been called or not. this is the view that the view for the project. So implementing last is API calls a web service. We're using a service called Pusher that's used for public subscribe for other keeping the other. There's a way of using multiple browsers to share a project. So in this example, we test how Scenario listens to a Pusher API. We're testing this, so we're actually, I'm actually making a dummy implementation of subscribe, and we're testing if this function has been called. Aspy is simply something that could listen to a method call. It intercepts it and checks if this method was called a certain number of times with certain arguments and return values. What we're concerned is with if the subscribe was called with this kind of key, which is the channel to which Scenario listens for events to synchronize its state.
Hey, you know what? I can scroll that.
Cool. Thank you.
This stuff is cool.
All right. This is the code that implements the handler that we see that connects the pusher and this passes on channel ID, and when subscription has been successful, it binds to a channel for it's successful. Otherwise, it returns a different it sends a different event to a different channel. Okay, last mostly my opinions. In Jasmine, there's a concept of, or in Sign-On, sorry, there's a concept of mocks, which is similar to Ruby's double. So it actually does a little bit of stuffing, does a little bit of spying. We had some problems with thin arrows and fat arrows in CoffeeScript, which is basically fat arrows is the scope resolution operator of CoffeeScript. Use that to refer to the object that created the function. So if you're using views, fat arrows are helpful. Do you write the spec first? Sometimes, but usually no. But the benefits usually come back not having to worry about events replacing or having problems. Writing too much specs, and I have a tendency to disable blocks of specs. But you have to figure out which ones are working or not. But a good rule of thumb is that when writing a spec, are you actually testing your code or actually testing the framework's code? So that's it. Thank you.
Question. Can you give a quick run through of what is Jasmine? Because I think you haven't introduced what Jasmine is.
Jasmine is a JavaScript library.
Show your code. Show the code so we can see. Because we dived into the scenario code, the backbone. It's backbone with Jasmine and written in CoffeeScript. So it's
these parts are provided by Jasmine. So Skype function,
guys.
Before block and it.
So it looks like our spec.
Provided by Jasmine. It's simply a JavaScript library.
Yeah. Jasmine is born out of our spec. and it's in JavaScript. And when you translate JavaScript into CoffeeScript, it looks like Ruby. So now Jasmine looks like RSpec.
Strangely poetic that Jasmine is written by Flavor Noche, right? You're making scenarios.
There's also more. Someone recommended to use Mocha. Magde-demo naman si Team Oxy next month.
Questions from the audience? About anything. It's a different topic.
In life in general.
Why CoffeeScript?
Why CoffeeScript?
Oh no! Ayan na!
Diyan si Rico.
Ba't kayo nakapa?
But pizza yung gano'n na.